That brings back memories. Hey guys, Shaun back again with a new Let's Play. You know, I realise I say that at the start of basically every Let's Play. I'm back with another Let's Play. See if you can guess what this is.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by Next Generation Special Forces.
Next Generation Special Forces.
They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss. And they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
Nuclear weapon?
Two mission objectives. First,
David Hayter, legendary man.
Donald Anderson, and the president of Armstech, Kenneth.
Check on the internet, you can currently find him talking about how his butt cheeks keep slapping together and alerting guards.
To make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
That was a funny video, actually.
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub. And then we'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit.
So this game was... This was a big deal.
There are 6 members.
I mean, the PlayStation had
Psycho Mattis with
several what you would call killer apps.
Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, Master of Disguise.
I mean, to begin with, when the PlayStation came out in like '94, you had stuff like Tekken. The original Tekken was a big deal on the PlayStation. Ridge Racer was a big deal. Both from Namco.
Liquid Snake.
Flash forward a bit to '96, and like you have 2 big games in '96
I'll instruct you by codec after you
that become killer apps for the PlayStation.
As usual, this is
Tomb Raider
mission.
and the original Resident Evil.
Yes, this is a top secret black.
'97, you have the big one. Final Fantasy VII comes out and changes the public perception of JRPGs and puts Squaresoft on the map. And then 1998 rolls around, and you have Resident Evil 2 and this. I mean, like, this changed things. I remember playing the demo for this back in the day. Do I have save data? Huh. I play these things on like so many different systems, I forget where my save data is. Because like we've got the PS3 we can play this on, we've got the Vita, the PSP, the PSTV we can play it on. I love this track here. We'll hear this is a recurring piece throughout the game. The only time we'll get to hear like the full version is during the ending credits, called The Best Is Yet to Come. And it's a really good piece, I do really like it. So, regardless of how you feel about the series itself, Metal Gear Solid really did a lot for narrative structure in games. And looking back on it, like one of the most impressive things about this game, I think, is that at no point does the game shift into FMVs or live action stuff. No CGI, no FMVs. everything in this game is done in engine, which really helps like stay connected with the story and become more immersed with it. Because stuff like Resident Evil 1 had the live action stuff for its big cutscenes, and
Snake. Colonel, can you...
Tomb Raider had some of the CG stuff, though a lot of its stuff did happen during in-game, in-engine.
Just as I expected. You'll have to take the elevator to the surface.
Resident Evil 2, of course, had its big CG scenes. But this game comes along and none of that. And none of the Metal Gear Solid series, none of the Metal Gear series actually does that. Everything that happens in-engine.
When you hear
I think that's a really neat idea.
Select button. The codex receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to.
So I first played this game on a demo disc.
I'm ready to go.
God, would it have been 98? Probably would have been 98. Alright, this is set to digital. Just give me a moment and let me switch to analog. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Currently on analog control. The game doesn't actually... You can't walk in this game. But analog control does give you full 360-degree movement, so it's really nice. Always appreciate that. So let's hope this playthrough goes better than the last one. I don't mean like the last Metal Gear Solid. This is my first time recording it for this channel. But like Sands of Time. Had some issues in Sands of Time with deaths. Yeah, I'm pretty good at the original Metal Gear Solid. Let's try and get through this without dying. Although there are a few places where I do kind of expect to die. Alright, off we go. So the opening sequence here. Really we just want to get into a position near the elevator and... Well, that was irritating. Need to get into a position near the elevator, stay hidden, and wait for the elevator to come down. So at this point, we're really just waiting. So, Metal Gear Solid, I played this first on the demo disc. And the demo... Oh, and there's Jeremy Blaustein. He did the translation for Symphony of the Night as well. Really good work, actually. Like, the script for Symphony of the Night is honestly excellent. I think sitting down looking at the script, the monster names, the references to lore and folklore, classic literature was really good. And I think this probably has, like, the best translated script of any Metal Gear Solid game. That's something we'll get into later as we go through the series, though. So yeah, I first played this on demo disc. Probably would have been in 98. I forget when exactly this was released in 98. Like, I can remember years, usually. But the months, no. And the demo disc has, like, has everything, actually, up until the DARPA chief. Which is, like, it's a substantial amount for a demo disc. Not in that it's a huge amount of gameplay content, but it's probably like a sizable chunk of the data on the disc. Because it's like all the cutscenes, all the voices, all the dialogue, everything you can experience in the main game up until the cutscene with the DARPA chief. And that's the thing, like, you go, find the DARPA chief, does all the cutscenes, and then ends after those cutscenes are done. So it's like, that's a solid amount of content in a demo disc. So Metal Gear Solid is actually the third game in the Metal Gear series. Previously you had Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, both for the MSX. The first Metal Gear was released in Europe, I think, in English. The second one was Japan exclusive. There is the NES version of Metal Gear, which is actually kind of substantially different to the original Metal Gear. And of course Snake's Revenge, which is completely non-canon.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
How's that sneaking suit working out?
I'm nice and dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Bear with it. It's designed to prevent hypothermia. This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy, I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the genome soldiers in this exercise are using it.
I see. I'm relieved to hear that. Already tested, huh? By the way, how's the diversionary operation?
So of course Metal Gear Solid is legendary at this point for its amount of dialogue and exposition. The first game's not that bad about it actually, and isn't that long. Starting with Metal Gear Solid 2, we start getting to really excessive cutscenes. Like, I heard there was a cutscene at one point. I heard there was a cutscene in Metal Gear Solid 2. That was over an hour long. But the cutscene I thought it'd be, I checked, and it's actually like 45 minutes between end of gameplay and resuming gameplay, which is still crazy. Like, you put the controller down for 45 minutes to watch a cutscene. And then of course Metal Gear Solid 4 has I think it has like several cutscenes that are over an hour. But the first game's not too bad with it.
Their deadline. You've got to hurry.
Wow, you must be crazy to fly a hind in this kind of weather.
Who's that?
Oh, sorry. I haven't introduced you to yet.
I will say right now though,
She was assigned to us as our visual and data processing specialist. She designed your codec.
as far as this series goes, you intend to go through this game, 2, 3, 4.
Nice to meet you, Snake.
I do want to do the remake on
A living
GameCube,
legend like yourself.
Twin Snakes,
What's wrong?
Nothing.
which I really
I
enjoyed
just
Twin
didn't expect
Snakes,
the
but I've not
world-class
played
designer
it
of
in
military
years.
technology to be so cute.
You're just flattering me.
No, I'm serious. Well, I know I won't be bored for the next 18 hours.
Come on. I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous Solid Snake.
Peace Walk is a probability.
You're very frank for a trained killer.
Looks like we
Portable
both had a
Ops
lot
is a
to learn from each
possibility.
other.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to learning about the man behind the legend. But first,
I'm not sure
let me
about
explain
5,
your solar
honestly.
confidence.
Ground Zeroes or Phantom Pain. Like, Phantom Pain is so long.
The bright dot in the middle is you.
And it's so long where there's
The
just
red
nothing
dots are
really
your
going on.
enemies, and the blue cone
But we'll
shape
see.
represents their field of
If we
vision.
do MGS5, it's going to be
careful,
a long time before we
The
get to it.
genome soldiers have highly developed senses of hearing and vision due to their gene therapy. Make sure you don't let them see you.
First, I want you to infiltrate the disposal site and look for the DARPA chief.
The DARPA chief was injected with the same GPS transmitting nanomachines as you. He should appear
I don't
on the
think I'll
radar
ever
as a
do
green dot.
Metal Gear 1 or 2. I have no real interest in them.
If he's alive,
That said, I do want to do Rising. I love Rising as a game. It's a lot of fun to play.
Snake, your radar isn't affected by the weather, but
And I
if
love the
discovered
music in
by an
that game.
enemy, you won't be able to use it.
Yes, it gets.
But yeah, no, that's
jammed
pretty
in
much
your
the plan
Yes,
for the series
it's all
so
based on
far.
currently existing technology.
But I say, like,
Won't
no
be able
interest
to
in
use
doing
it
1 or
with
2,
a
but
strong
never say never with this
resonance,
kind of thing.
So be careful.
You
We'll
never
be
know.
monitoring your movements by radar, so contact us by codec anytime you want.
Got it. I'll call if I'm feeling lonely.
Seriously, Snake, we're here to back you up, so call if you need
So,
some advice.
1998, when this game came out, voice acting in video games still wasn't particularly well regarded.
My frequency is 1.
I mean, by this point, the most famous example was the original Resident Evil.
Don't forget it.
They did have other examples like Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, which had
I
like
remember.
big
First
actors.
search by Dr. Naomi
I say
here, and then all
big,
my weapons are
like
taken
had a
away.
bunch of
Then
classically
yourself
trained
in that
actors
position.
and actually good actors doing roles, like Simon Templeman playing Kane,
I'll hold you to that,
and
By the way,
Tony
sorry
J
to disappoint, but
playing
I did manage to smuggle out my
Mortanius the
smokes.
Necromancer,
How did you do that?
who you may know best as the voice of Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Cigarettes? How are those going to help you?
You never know.
Tomb Raider's, I remember Tomb Raider, the original Tomb Raider's voice acting being pretty decent, actually. But then this game came along and kind of set like a really high standard for voice acting.
It's the fastest way, but there's too much risk of being spotted
There's a
by
good
the enemy.
number of voice actors in this game who you will probably recognise from other things. Like David Hayter is best known for playing Solid Snake, obviously.
556.
But he has done other stuff and has actually done live action stuff, both prior to this and following this. Jennifer Hale playing Dr. Naomi Hunter, of course. Jennifer Hale,
What
very
about the air duct near the
prolific
door?
voice actress.
There should also be a duct on the second floor.
I mean, the number of roles she's performed, jeez. Most recently, probably best known as the voice of female Shepard, Fem Shep in the Mass Effect trilogy.
I'll let you decide the best COA. I'm counting on you, Snake.
Oh, there we go, I finally have control again. Paul Eiding, who plays Colonel Campbell, very recognisable voice. He did stuff for StarCraft and was the voice of Grandpa Max in Ben 10. Cam Clark, who does the voice of Liquid, was doing stuff way before this, actually. He played Leonardo in the 80s Ninja Turtles series. The one that everybody remembers. Like, really fondly. He's done loads of roles over the years. And it's like, yeah, no, Metal Gear Solid actually went out to get proper voice actors, and that was kind of a big deal at the time. So what I'm going to aim to do here is try to get through this without killing anybody I don't need to. Later games in the series do give you the tranquilizer gun, which makes non-lethal actually an option. But in this, there are bosses you do have to kill, and there are certain encounters where you do have to kill your enemies. I'm going to be aiming to not kill anybody I don't have to. See how long that lasts as a trend in the stealth games that I do. Well, as we go forward and it's like, oh yeah, no, here's Dishonored. I'm going to try not to kill anybody. Oh wait, no. No, I got spotted. Well, I guess I'll have to kill everyone now. But no, this should be a fun time. Also, for the sake of the playthrough and keeping things moving, I'm not going to be answering any codec calls that I don't have to, or that don't have what I consider to be like relevant information. Like, this codec call is mandatory.
Snake, this is McDonald Miller.
Introduces Master Miller.
Master, what are you doing here?
I quit being a drill instructor, so I moved out here for some peace and quiet. I'm in retirement, just like you. Once in a while, I still help train the Alaskan Scouts.
Passing on the skills to a new generation, huh?
Campbell told me about the situation here. I thought I might be of some use.
There's no one I'd rather have in a foxhole than you.
Well, I know lots about survival in a harsh environment. I've lived in Alaska longer than you, so call me if you have any questions about the flora or fauna out here. My frequency is 141.80.
Also not going to be making any unnecessary codec calls. There will be a couple of exceptions, again for like exposition's sake. But beyond that, like, we're just trying to streamline this playthrough. The first Metal Gear Solid is actually fairly light on Easter eggs as far as like the series goes, but it does have a bunch of Easter eggs. We're never going to be calling Nastasha, Nastasha Romanenko, who is your weapons specialist, who will basically tell you about every weapon you have.
Shut those covers as soon as they're done spraying. Also, keep your eye on that woman in the cell. Don't get
She, if you don't call her, she is never actually in the story. I wonder how well I can do with this, because I can play Metal Gear Solid 1. I'm fairly decent at it. You do end up kind of missing some of the quality of life improvements from the sequels. Like Metal Gear Solid 2 introduces the first-person aiming with the tranquilizer, which is so helpful. Especially if it's like, oh, I don't want to kill anybody, but that guy's in my way. And it's really convenient. Circle is action in this. So there's your thing in this game. Triangle is first person. Whereas in later games it's R1. They changed how the inventory would work actually in the sequels. In this one, R1 is your quick select. Dequip, re-equip the last item you had. But in later games that would just be a quick tap of R2. And R1 would be your first person look. But in this one that's triangle. Which I guess makes circle the action button in this. But in the later games it's triangle. You want to grab those thermal goggles there, because if you go down to the DARPA chief before you grab them, then that door will be locked with a level 4 lock, which we won't be able to open for a considerable amount of time. And like we could get some real use out of the thermal goggles before that. Yeah, it's been a little while since I played Metal Gear Solid, but I'm quite enjoying this right now. I was worried that I'd be a little bored, because in previous attempts, I might have mentioned at some point, I was at one point trying to do Let's Plays with my brother, and we did this a few times, and God, I remember like the last time we tried it, and I was just so bored while I was playing this. Because we'd done it a few times. How long ago was the last time, actually? So, speaking of Easter eggs, thing here, if you go back down the ladder and come back up, she'll be doing a different exercise. Do it again, and she'll be doing another exercise, and if you do it another time, she'll be doing the first exercise in her underwear.